What's going on YouTube world? Austin Zaback here with another YouTube video, and it has been forever since I've uploaded, so I do apologize, but I promise I'm about to start uploading on a regular basis again. In today's YouTube video, I have a special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Austin Lewis. He's actually my roommate. He's my business partner in multiple companies, such as my Instagram growth company. Yeah, those of you guys that don't know, aside from real estate and aside from some other companies, I also actually own an Instagram growth company with Austin Lewis. It's actually called Legacy Marketing. And a lot of you guys on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram and some other social media platforms have been asking me how my life has changed dramatically over the last 12 months with growing my Instagram. And you guys have been asking, you know, how that directly correlates, what the ROI looks like on that, and just a bunch of different questions on, you know, why I started to grow my Instagram, why I think it's important, and what it's done for me personally in my life, and not only that, but what I know for a fact it can do for you in your life, because it's also done a lot of the same things for Austin in his life. And as a matter of fact, in the next YouTube video, make sure you stay tuned for this video and also the next one, because this is gonna be a 5-part series. And in part 2 of this 5-part series, we're gonna talk about what it's done for Austin in his life, and I'm gonna interview him. And in this video, he's gonna kinda interview me, and we're gonna talk about what it did for me in my life. So definitely make sure you stay tuned till the very end and you watch the entire 5-part series, because I know for a fact if you're watching this, it'll change your life as well. So guys, with that, Austin, thanks for coming on the channel, brother.
No, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Heck yes, man. So obviously, to just start, since we're gonna have this 5-part series, and I'm excited for this. I mean, we just woke up the other day and we were like, dude, let's do a 5-part series. Come to YouTube with it and give as much knowledge as possible to what is Instagram, what it can do for you, the platform, and then, like you said, all the people that have been asking you on what Instagram's done for you in the last 12 months. Most people on your YouTube or even on your Instagram haven't even seen, like, in the sense, the glow up, right, on what Instagram has done for you in your life. So, I mean, for maybe the people that are just literally watching this and they have 700 followers on Instagram, like what, and obviously that follow you now on Instagram, if you don't follow him, go make sure and follow him on Instagram. But what was life like before you had the following, you know? Because everybody, like, you don't have to be great to start, you just gotta start to be great. So, like, what was life like before you had the following? Yeah, really good question. So, you know, it's interesting because there's a lot of people, I think, in the world today that haven't fully grasped the power of social media. You know, there's a lot of old school people, you know, and there's just a lot of people out there that I believe that they just they can't quite wrap their brains around it. Like, they might be doing it, they might be kind of halfway doing it, they're kind of talking about it, but you know, the reality of it is, Austin, and as you know, we've been extremely blessed and fortunate to see the world from a different perspective. And that perspective being that there's people literally making, now again, this isn't for everybody, but there's people making millions, if not tens of millions of dollars using the power of just social media. Literally, Insta fame is a new thing. Like, we're not Insta famous by any means, we're just entrepreneurs, but that's a real thing now. Like, you know, before it was like you had to be on TV, you know, to go into somewhere and be, you know, TV famous or whatever famous, and now it's like you can be a celebrity off of Instagram. It's literally insane, the world that we live in. So, sorry to kind of get derailed there, but to answer your question, I mean, I've literally made probably multiple 6 figures, if not just shy or just at a 7-figure income, just using the power of Instagram. You know, and people always ask me, like, what's the ROI on that? And it's a tough one to answer because, like, our relationship, for those of you guys that don't know, we met on Instagram probably almost 3 years ago now. And, you know, I always tell people this. I say, hey, look, you know, how could I ever predict the ROI on Instagram? Because what if you call me in 10 years, which you probably will, by the way, and you say, hey, dude, I got this amazing idea, and it turns out to be a $100 million brand, right? And that idea, the only reason that it ever got presented to me out of anyone else is because of the platform Instagram, right? Because we met on Instagram. And so the ROI is basically impossible to predict, and you just have to assume that it could be you know, beyond your wildest imagination. So for me personally, it's changed my entire life. You know, I mean, I worked a lot of jobs. A lot of my subscribers know, you know, I've been through a lot in my life, and you know, now that perception's reality and I'm able to sell products and services and have credibility when I sit down at those meetings and meet people like you and do all these crazy different things, that I don't think any of that would be possible if it wasn't for a platform like Instagram. Yeah. And now you get the question a lot, like, what is the ROI? I mean, we get it both, like, what's the ROI? But again, you just, like, relay back to ROI is much greater than dollars, right? You know what I mean? Like, you've created massive success on Instagram, other than just creating the multiple 6 possible 7-figure income, but the connections that you've made, the people you've been able to meet, the places you've been able to stay. You know what I mean? Like, it goes, like, what is your ROI on Instagram is much more in depth than just a dollar amount,
right.
like a dollar figure, you know? Like people nowadays are able to go to Greece and stay in, you know what I mean, a hotel, yeah, for free.
To promote it on their Instagram.
What's ROI on that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that part just blows my mind.
And to add to that, I just think that that's an old school way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there was a day and time when, you know, somebody said, okay, if I'm going to spend X dollars, I'm going to receive X dollars, right? And that was the ROI. Yeah. And nowadays, you know, you look at guys like Logan Paul. Again, you don't have to be a celebrity. This works on a much lower level too, but how could you ever determine that ROI? I mean, look at the movies and the productions and the houses and the cars and the relationships and the fights, and like predicting an ROI on the life in 2018 on social media is basically impossible. Number one, because momentum, right? Momentum eventually happens. So you kind of go like this, and then out of nowhere you go straight up. But you don't know when you're going to go straight up. Nobody knows. And the relationships, like you said, it's just unbelievable. And I mean, I think if you're not on social media, especially Instagram, I think you're just doing it wrong.
Yeah, and not growing.
Yeah,
consistency.
Absolutely.
Blows my mind. So what is it like? So before you started growing the Instagram following and having that brand awareness, building your personal brand, like what did you think? Like, because you worked at Sears.
I did.
And at that time, like, what did you think like the next 3 years are gonna look like for you?
Yeah.
Like, just kidding, like, you know.
Yeah, totally. Well, I definitely didn't imagine being here. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's crazy. Like, and when I say that, like, I always knew that I was going to be successful. I always knew, like, as a little kid, a lot of people that watch my, you know, YouTube and my Instagram and stuff nowadays know the majority of my story. Like, I always knew, like, deep down somewhere, like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be successful. I want to make a lot of money. Like, that was, you know, it's just something that's always been in my DNA. That said, I never imagined it to look how it looks, if that makes sense. You know, living with, you know, my closest friends, doing business every day of my life, doing things that I literally love to do, traveling the world, posting pictures, being creative for a living, like just thinking outside of the box for a living. And everything that's really in my life right now is just, I'm extremely blessed and extremely fortunate, but you know, again, I took action on something that most people can't see or didn't see at the time. Yeah. You know, because I think that there was a time and place where me and you both kind of looked at each other years and years ago and we're like, why are we really building Instagram? Like, what's like, you know, like what's kind of the end goal? And you know, we always kind of struggle with the end goal and like the how. Yeah. But you know, the thing is that's kind of part of being an entrepreneur. Yeah. You know, you don't always know the how, and that goes with any business. You know, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, and I think that's really important for you guys that are watching this right now is the how kind of in today's day and age comes after like you almost have to take that first step and then get to the second and then the third before you can just draw your whole vision board nowadays. Yeah. You know, it's kind of a different world we live in. Like I tell people a lot now, like people are like, well, I got to start a business before I start my Instagram. And I'm like, well, no, that's how you did it 10 years ago. I'm like, now what you want to do is you want to build your personal brand, right? Build that following, and then that following will enable you to start the business. Yeah, 100%. It's
like a spiral staircase. Right. Do you look at the top first?
Exactly.
Or do you look at the first step? Yeah,
you're going to fall if you try to stare at the top the whole time. Yeah. How are you going to know?
Yeah. So what was like that mental switch that you had that like, because I know when I had it, but like what did you feel when you had that mental switch and okay, now I know that I'm building my personal brand? Because at first when you started building your personal brand, you didn't really know why. So what was that like mental switch that you had on like, okay, I'm going balls to the wall with this and I know that this is really where the hockey puck is going rather than where the hockey puck is at? Like when was that switch? Like what was your next attack after that, you know?
Yeah, totally. I think I started to see the internet. The internet was really big, right? And we like in the grand scheme of things, me and you both, we're both 23 years old. We were kind of born in the era of the internet. At the same time though, if we were like, we both got started really young, so we kind of saw what the world was like before that too, a little bit, just a glimpse of that. And you know, so I started to see everything shift. You know, you start to see like Blockbusters going down, right? All of a sudden red boxes go up. All of a sudden red boxes are going down, Netflix is coming up. All of a sudden, you know, a lot of the big Walmarts and stuff are shutting down and Amazon's delivering at my doorstep. And I started to see this shift of people, you know, on this all day long, right? They're driving down the road and they're on their phone. And I'm like, okay, where's attention going? You know, attention isn't necessarily on billboards anymore. I don't even remember the last billboard I saw, and not because it's not there. I guarantee the billboard's still there, by the way. But I wasn't looking at it. I was looking at my phone. I wasn't even looking at the road. And you know, again, like, you know, I don't want to like encourage that, but that's kind of the reality of the world we live in, right? And so, same with TV. We don't have cable in our house. You know, I remember the last time I saw a commercial, and so I started to see that, and I'm like, okay, if I just position, and then network marketing, right? We both did network marketing, and you know, I'm very thankful for the industry because I think it taught both of us a lot about life and what was possible, right? And that there was so much, you know, there's so much abundance. And in network marketing, I always remembered this, they hammered it in your head, people buy people, not products or services. And I got that so ingrained in my head in network marketing, right? People buy people, they don't buy products or services, right? And so whatever product or service then that person has to sell, assuming he has a big enough personal brand, he can sell that. And so, you know, I started just, I put two and two together. I'm like, okay, the world's all going to this, and if people don't buy products or services and they buy people, then I need to build people. People don't always want to see me selling the house. They want to see what I'm doing Saturday morning at 8 a.m. You know what I mean? They want to see who's Austin Zaback. And then maybe a glimpse of what he does. But not just, I see so many people that just show what they do, and they fail massively because they never show who they are, right? And people think it's not authentic, you know, so, you know, that's something I kind of started to do, you know, maybe about 12 months ago.
That's incredible too. I mean, one tip that he just said that like kind of resonated with me was the fact that you said that people don't buy products or services, like people buy people. And on Instagram, you're able to buy people. You know what I mean? That's why nowadays we see the swipe up stories, we see the like the business pages on Instagram, right? People don't like, when's the last time you bought Nike because it was Nike? Or like, why do people buy Tesla, I guess, is the next question. Like, do they buy Tesla because it's just an electric car?
Why do people buy Yeezys?
Exactly.
Who's behind that shoe?
Right there.
You know what I mean?
Like, we see all the time too, and we're seeing it now, the meme of a brick. The brick, and then that you can get a Walmart for $2.94. Then you see a Supreme brick, same freaking thing, but it's $200.
All the cool people have it.
Exactly.
Because they're people.
People, right? It's the branding behind, not the product or service, it's the branding behind the people. Like there's a lot of products or services, I mean, we can even think about this too, of people that absolutely buy a bunch of stuff because it's the cool thing to do.
Oh, totally.
And it's crappy products or it's crappy services. You know what I mean? Like there's billion-dollar companies out there that have all right products, but you could go get other products somewhere else that are better, but people still buy those products because of the branding.
Absolutely.
That
is 100% true. And I think really quick, just to add to that too, is like a lot of people always ask me, you get asked this a lot too, is like, you know, should I build a business page? AKA, like, I'm not saying not to have your business analytics on, we'll save that for another video, but like an actual all business page or a personal page. And I always say personal. When's the last time you saw an actual business like Walmart on Instagram have massive success over, let's say, Kylie Jenner? You know what I mean? It's not, Kylie Jenner's not selling her makeup primarily, like she's selling her makeup, but her makeup and okay, I'll probably get, she probably has an Instagram account for her makeup. 100%. But I guarantee you, her Kylie Jenner account has quadruple, again, I haven't checked this, followers than her makeup account.
100%.
Because people buy her, and then they buy the product from her personal account.
Now this is totally random, but why do you think people make business accounts and don't post that on their personal page? Is it because their ego's too big, or is it because they just literally think that the business account is going to sell? Like a business account on Instagram is kind of like a brick and mortar business today. Like it's, I mean, maybe it could be insecurity too. You know what I mean? I think that a lot, I think that a lot of people in today's world, they're, you know, we hear this a lot, but it's their social esteem. They're not willing to give that up. You know, a lot of people want to look a certain way and portray themselves a certain way, especially on social media, and they're not willing to kind of step outside of that box and show people what they're really about or what they believe in or stand for, what they do. And they try to kind of act in a way, and you know, there's a time and a place for acting and you know, faking it till you make it and all that good stuff. But you know, if you do something, you're passionate about something, like if people don't support that, let them unfollow you. 100%.
Why would you want that follower? Right? If someone's just going to, you know, not like anything that I post anyways, well then click the unfollow button. I don't want that follower anyways, you know, so I think that might be part of it.
100% bad energy anyways. So what, like, just to wrap this up, what is, like, because obviously a lot of people on this side right here that are watching are saying, you know, maybe I have 1,200 followers on Instagram, you have 80,000. Like, what's the difference, do you think, between you and that person maybe sitting there right there, which wasn't you long ago?
Not long ago at all.
What's the difference between you and them, and why you grew so fast and why they are maybe a little bit stagnant and are wanting to grow and wanting to go to that next step, but haven't been able to achieve that?
Totally. I think that two reasons really. Number one, I think it leads right off of the next one. I think what I did on my personal Instagram account, and I did very well, was I was very everything that I post is kind of contradictory to the status quo. It's not. It doesn't really. I don't really go, you know, along with the flow of people and what everyone else is doing. You know, I kind of take the other route, and for the better or for the worse. You know, you're gonna get hate for doing that, right? It's just but you're gonna get hate no matter what. You know, no matter what you're trying to achieve in life. So I think that's number one. You know, wasn't afraid to kind of step out of the box and say, okay, you guys are all doing that, it's great, but I'm gonna tell you how I really feel. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you the honest truth of me, and that attracts people, right? And again, this isn't not to talk about politics or anything, but the fact of the matter, look at Donald Trump, okay? Whether you like him or don't, this isn't to say whether I like him or not, but everyone's talking about the guy, right? Because he just says it how it is, and again, for the good or for the bad, people are like, wait a minute, what's his guy? What's the deal? Right? Because he's just like he ain't afraid to just like lay it on the table, and that attracts people. Again, whether it's good publicity or bad publicity, he's attracting people. So I guess number one. Number two was I realized that there just wasn't a difference. You know, I finally got to a place in my life where I sat there and I just said, what is the frickin' difference between you and me and Jay Alvarez or Justin Bieber or anybody on the face of the planet? And it kind of goes back to you know, like talking, like, you know, just all the Napoleon Hill and like a bunch of motivational stuff, but you know, what's the difference? I'm just like, wait, they're the same exact person as me, and if they can do it, so can I. You know what I mean? And that was it, man. And so I just took action. And most people are just sitting there and they're talking about it, and they're like, man, when I have good content, or when it's the right time, or when I start my business, or when I have money, or when, and it's like, dude, if you would just take action, you would get there. You know, there's absolutely no difference. I'm not a photographer. I'm not a videographer. I'm not an editor. Like, I'm not. Like I didn't do that great in school, you know. I was just not afraid to go out there and make it happen. And same with you. You know.
100%.
So.
And you weren't afraid to invest into
100%. Absolutely. And invest without necessarily having a lot of support. You know, because there's a lot of times like you go into a brick and mortar business and it's like, okay, here's the paperwork, here's the KPIs, here's everything on this business, and here's what it's going to produce. It's easy to get people behind that, right? 100%. Say, okay, well, yeah, you, and you, you know, we're going to do this, and here's the numbers. It all makes perfect sense, and we got a vision, right? And that's easy, but it's another thing when you go to your friends and family and people that don't necessarily have the same wavelength that you have, and you explain to them what you're about to do on Instagram or on YouTube, and they're not Instagrammers, they're not YouTubers, they're just normal, ordinary people. Nothing wrong with that. To get them to support you and to see your vision is difficult. So the only thing I guess I'd recommend there is you just got to believe so much in your own vision that it doesn't matter what other people think. You know, and I think that's the bottom line.
And they're going to miss the wave.
They're going to miss the wave. Because we.
Well, what is it? People say when Apple came around, people said, you know, you're either going to wish you did or you're going to be glad that you had.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And that's the same word.
And speaking of Apple, really quick, just to finish this off, does Apple wait for them to get their new phone right before they release it? Or do they release it and then update, bug, right? They just get the product out there. They say, hey man, we're gonna release the X and it's all jacked up. You know, the first 100 people that buy it, you're gonna have some massive problems, but we're gonna give it to you, and then you're gonna tell us what the problem is, and we'll try to fix it as soon as possible. And I think that's a big takeaway too on social media is stop trying to get it right. Stop trying to have the perfect caption and the perfect photo and the perfect everything before you get started, when the reality of the situation is you just gotta get started. Then you can go back and you can get it right. And that goes a lot back to what Gary Vaynerchuk always says. He says, hey man, you gotta stop trying to create and just start documenting. So, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thanks so much for being on the channel, bro. Next episode or next YouTube video is going to be the opposite, right? So we're going to flip this around, and I'm going to ask him, I'm going to interview him on how his life has changed and some of the tips and tricks that he's done along the way. That's going to be absolutely massive because we're both growing really big right now. And we have an Instagram growth company as well. So if you watch any of these videos at all and you decide for whatever reason that you want to grow your Instagram, but you don't necessarily want to do it yourself, you just want to be in charge of your content, but you don't want to be on the back end, you know, with the algorithms and all that crazy stuff, trying to actually grow your following, your connections, your engagement, and all that good stuff. We actually handle that for you guys. So we have, you know, systems, processes, and people in place to do that, and that'll actually be in the first link in the description down below. So definitely go check that out if you're interested. Thanks for being on the channel, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Look forward to having you on the next time. And guys, I'm gonna stay super consistent now, so stay tuned for my YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Smash that thumbs up, and we'll see you guys soon.